Okay, cool. So in the previous video, we went through some sort of anomaly detection using Snowflake Cortex, and we just ran that in the Snowflake UI. Now that's all well and good, right? But really, you'd want to do one of two things here. So either you would want to have this as a blocking test. A blocking test is a test you run as part of your data pipeline, and if the test fails, you don't run anything downstream of it. That could be something like refreshing a dashboard in Power BI, right? You basically say, I'm not going to refresh this extract unless this data quality test passes or this anomaly test passes. That's a blocking test. Or you kind of have it as a non-blocking test. So you say, okay, I'm a data analyst. I want to know what the results of this are, but I don't want it to kind of like, hold up any pipelines. I'm kind of willing to accept that, there might be some anomalies or some small data quality issues in my data, and I'm going to monitor them, but I don't want to basically have to create an instant every time one of these tests doesn't fail, but I do want to be alerted. And that obviously calls for an orchestration tool, right? It's like, how do we do that? And anomaly testing is pretty intuitive, right? It is feasible that a data analyst, if you're one of those, could have a dashboard that they look after, that they also want to conduct data quality on for the source data. And it doesn't follow from that they should kind of have to go back to the engineering team and say, hey, can you build this fancy pipeline for me? So yeah, that's a bit of intro, and we can kind of see what this looks like in Orchestra. So I'm going to go ahead and share this tab. So the first thing you do is very standard Snowflake auth, and then you'd start to build your data quality pipeline. So in this example, we have a cron trigger that's actually running from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. because that's when my data comes in. Running data quality tests. And there are two examples of this. So you could run a standard test, right? It's very similar to what you see in DBT, but maybe you don't want to go into the DBT repo and write more code and sort of have another pull request. But you do just want to do a data quality test. And you can see we also run the anomaly detection model that we did before as a data quality test. Something you can do is add a downstream dependency. So if you wanted to do some ad hoc analysis using Hex or some reverse ELT using a tool like HighTouch or Census, or even just plain old refresh Power BI, right? This is all possible. You then obviously can enable alerting, so Slack, email, Teams, which gives the kind of owner of this pipeline the ability to kind of know exactly what's going on. And it's super powerful, right? Because this is Snowflake data quality, but this might be sort of, I don't know, like product usage dashboard, right? Maybe this is what we care about. And there might be another pipeline, right, which is ingest data for product usage. So that could be something as simple as airbyte into DBT, right? Could just be that. And what's very powerful with Orchestra is you can kind of link these up. So perhaps the engineering team is responsible for moving the data and transforming it, and then the people responsible for delivering the insights want to have their own pipeline, right? Or maybe you just want to modularize what you do because it's easy to manage. So I've just added a pipeline trigger. So you can keep the end-to-end lineage, but people can kind of work in different groups. Now, obviously, running this is very powerful. You have all the metadata, including Snowflake costs and credits, as well as the results of what happened. You can see this in a nice lineage graph. Scroll through failed nodes, see what's up. But the power in this is being able to aggregate this data. So what we can do is we can go ahead and go to our Snowflake data quality product, and you can go ahead and add, what we want, right? So now we've kind of bucketed these two pipelines together. We can now see exactly how they're doing. So, it's not just failures, but we can see how the quality score is doing, and we can see how much it costs. So not doing so well. And we can even dive in. So here we can actually filter for these different parts of the pipeline and really understand, exactly what's costing what and how failures impact duration and the really granular metadata that underpins all of this. So yeah, that's a little bit about how you implement a Snowflake data quality testing framework in Orchestra. Hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you've got any questions.